someone's been murdered. You can't get away from a crime where someone's been murdered. They've got to be sought and found and implicated if necessary. And then, that intelligence brought to court.
Jill Dando was one of Britain's biggest TV stars when she was shot dead on her doorstep just after 11:30 a.m. on Monday, April the 26th, 1999.
There's something collapsed confidentially. It looks like it's Jill Dando.
That woman has been identified as Jill Dando, the television presenter.
Her murder remains unsolved. 25 years on, a Daily Mirror investigation has found that CCTV of a man police wanted to question, who we have called Man X, matches the features of a Serbian Secret Services assassin. The smartly dressed man was pictured shortly after the shooting, acting suspiciously on the gunman's suspected escape route. A facial comparison expert has now found a number of similarities between Man X and the Serbian double-convicted murderer, Milorad Ulemek. The Mirror also revealed that detectives on the Jill Dando case waited nearly a year before they began searching for a man who a key witness said she saw running for his life from the murder scene.
I was absolutely certain. And there was no doubt. It wasn't like, I think it's him. It was definitely him.
Since this interview, the key witness has identified the man she saw running from the Jill Dando murder scene as ruthless Serbian assassin Milorad Ulemek. Reacting to the recent Mirror investigation that compared similarities between Man X and Ulemek, the witness said, "It's him." Asked if she was sure, she added, "Yes, I've no doubt. I'm a bit rattled. It was a long time ago, but I can remember faces from years and years back. I'm bad for remembering names, but I'm good with faces. I think I need to speak to the police. I'm completely and utterly adamant that is one and the same person that I saw run down the road."
When was the last time that you saw Jill Dando?
I have never seen Jill Dando.
Barry George, a local man with learning difficulties who had sex convictions from the early 1980s, was jailed for 8 years before being cleared and released in 2008. Gunpowder residue evidence from the original trial was thrown out on appeal, with the judge saying the jury had been misled over its significance. The witness said she was never asked about the CCTV when she gave evidence for the defence at Mr. George's first Old Bailey trial in 2001. She said she was also never asked to do an ID parade for Mr. George. We spoke with Mr. George and revealed our findings to him, that the police did not begin to look for Man X until almost a year after the murder.
It reinforces that they weren't doing their job properly, because obviously, as a police force, I can understand dealing with different things that they're, to a certain extent, stretched or will be stretched, but not to the point that they would dismiss something as poignant as that. And I agree that the person should be looked into very heavily, and not just brushed over and, because we had someone else, we basically use the easy target, then turn around and get the right person. If the guy is believed to be the person. Someone's been murdered. You can't get away from a crime where someone's been murdered. They've got to be sought and found and implicated if necessary. And then, that intelligence brought to court.
The sister of Barry George, Michelle Bates, has spent the past 24 years fighting her younger brother's corner since he was first arrested.
It's appalling that the police could have evidence that they have not fully investigated, that they've had it for 25 years, within just days of Jill being killed, and yet a year later, when they still haven't found this person to trace, I don't know what they call it, talk to and eliminate, they choose Barry George. And Barry George went to prison for 8 years. And not only did Barry George go to prison, but we have spent 24 years trying to fight the British justice system that still wants Barry George in the frame for this. And yet the police have been sitting on this information. Whenever we were out there fighting for justice for Barry, we were fighting for justice for Jill and for her family as well.
Reacting to the Mirror's findings that Man X bears a resemblance to Serbian assassin Milorad Ulemek, both Barry and Michelle stated that the police need to act.
He most certainly should be spoken to, and definitely my feeling is it's not the Met Police, and certainly nobody who was on the Dando case. It should be completely separate force that goes and investigates this. If there is somebody in Serbia who needs to be talked to about this, then that must be done.
I don't want, and I wouldn't want, an innocent person to be brought to account, but if they're found to be guilty after the investigation, once they are pursued, they should, if the evidence pans out that they're the person responsible, they should be accountable to any competent court of law